on this agenda, technically, but I posted it on the Secretary of State's website,
Okay.
and
I gave you 72
I mean-
hours, but one of them was a Sunday, so. it
well,
doesn't
I
count.
don't think the weekends, anyway, it doesn't,
I'll do earlier next time.
because I can't get to the clerk's office on a Saturday or Sunday to post it. We have to manually post it with the clerk's office. Kate, there were plenty of agendas
I
from the
will
300
sleep
that
okay
didn't
tonight.
make it on
Just in case. Yeah.
Surely you just.
They'll go make you walk that grease pole out into the salt pond. If, okay,
Or will
But-
it just make you jest?
Shirley.
Oh, God, don't call me
Uh,
Shirley.
Item number 2, approval of the minutes, April 29th, 2025. I've got a copy here on my cellular device. Entertain a motion
Motion
to,
to approve.
okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, any discussion? All right, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, passes unanimously. All right, discussion, item 3, budget, hooray, hooray, hooray.
Good job.
We are approved for up to $30,000 and $20,000 this first fiscal year, starting on July 1st of 25, $10,000 the following year. And that was timed to coincide with, if and when we throw a summer town beach event, that would be after the July 1st of 2026. So, yeah, that's good. Again, I was texting and talking with Lauren Fogarty. In the next month or so, we should find out, that kind of bleeding into the second item here, grants, donations, fundraising. But the large grant that we're thinking about is through the Secretary of State's office. It's baked into the state budget. We just have to wait to see if there's any other funding that comes from that source. And beyond that, and we can talk about it, we may do some level of fundraising. I think there's nothing ventured, nothing gained, as we're rounding out our programs, maybe polish things up with some graphics. I think that would enable us to have kind of talking points, and we can hit up some folks, local and abroad or otherwise. So anybody have any thoughts on the budget? Yes, sir.
Ken, are we're going with all 9 speakers after all? Okay, yeah. And that we do have a place for them. Mark and I have talked about this, the idea that the school, they mentioned something on last night about pulling down parts of the high school.
About not being available for the whole season.
So it wouldn't be available for speakers.
Yeah, Terry, that presentation they gave, I mean, they went over how they would, they being the Gilbane and the field, how they do this work. So I'm not sure, well, there's gonna be construction out there. And I think what's going to happen sooner rather than later is the fence will go up. And they'll work on the new site, but they have to keep the school open for the kids.
Right.
So as the new school goes online, then the old school can come down. So I think the school will likely be available in
Okay.
26,
Okay.
because they're talking, is it fall of 27?
I think so. I
That's what they said last
truthfully,
night.
I wasn't
Yeah.
totally
That was
focused on that
banded-
presentation, but
that date was bandied around 2 weeks ago when we were there.
yeah, it's definitely not 2026.
No,
at all.
they want to
So-
start the 27-28 school year.
Right, so that's
In the
fall
school.
of 27.
So,
Yeah.
would you suggest then that I contact Ryan Muir, who was, he ran that auditorium, in other words, he was its supervisor.
Was he there every,
No, he was
No.
never there, but, I
Okay.
would show up at 3:00 in the afternoon,
okay,
and we would set up everything we needed.
yeah,
And then the speaker would come in around 5 and set up his or her, what she needed or he needed.
I think-
And then after that, it went, that it ran, and then,
And I was trained how to use the AV system so I could plug things in
yeah,
for them.
good.
yeah,
I don't see why you wouldn't start with Ryan,
yeah.
and he may be able to push through, and there's a new superintendent, that, you know, they do have a process for reserving rooms, but I don't know if Ryan just did that for the whole.
I through him, but also, is the principal still the same principal?
Chip McGarry, yeah.
Chip, yeah, so Chip
Yeah,
was,
good guy.
Chip and I wrote all the time,
Okay.
back and forth, and he was always amiable. The only time is when, July and August,
Yeah,
and that's when we moved up to the Tavern Hall for that
Oh, right.
July, the 3 speakers, and then, the park where the rabbit is right now, the park where, there was one talk, a brief talk.
oh, the Village Green
Oh, yeah.
for,
Village
um,
Green,
yeah.
yeah, we did that, and then we went back to September, we went back. But do you want me also to pursue, contemporary theater as a possibility? I don't know if you wanna do that. I know Sharon seems adamant about that, at least in conversations she's had with me, but, do you want me to at least pursue that and see what happens, or?
Well, it seems like July and August is the time we could get Bill Boardman to maybe, come around finally.
Oh, all right.
No, it definitely seems like with
Yeah,
the
so it seems like,
construction going on, we should be planning for alternatives.
Okay,
But then the other thing is too, even if we get into that space with construction ongoing, it may not be very appealing, the aesthetics might be off, so maybe we look at alternate space.
okay,
Kingston, Laurel, the last couple of weeks, it said Kingston Free Library could seat up to 200.
all right.
Yep, parking would be an issue, and then Mark, you had a church that you were
yeah, so that
suggesting.
church, my neighbor was one of the pastors at the church,
Yeah.
the Episcopal Church at
Okay.
Kenyon and Main Street.
All right.
So I can talk to them and see if we can probably use that space without cost.
I guess the only question for the success of speakers is, a regular time, we used to do the third Thursday of the month, and, a regular place for the most part. I mean, we can move it around, especially in summertime when, the school basically closes its doors. Let's say June, July, August, we would have those 3 months, in which they would, we could be elsewhere, contemporary theater, the church, we could then do those places and then come back on. Well, September, I don't know where you want to have, September back, because by then the school maybe in its last legs is standing up.
Well, the new school might be open by
I
September.
believe what'll happen is, okay, so fall, yeah, it's tough, so let's, so I think, starting January of '26, the school's available until basically they're out of session,
Right.
right? And so that would be end of June,
mm-hmm,
right? So
Yeah.
you'll have the access to the school has to be perfectly functional, has to accommodate parking.
Right.
But then I'd be willing to bet they'll send demolition crews in there.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
probably.
to try to do as much demolition as possible so that they can have a clean area and not be demolishing the old building while they're,
So
opening
we'll
up.
be done with, the school, the high school, the end of that term, the end of that semester in
If I could put one more thing in, remember last June, we had an extremely hot day on our speaker day.
Yeah.
And I think it was the guy from, the War College came to speak with his
Yes,
jacket on.
that's right,
And
yeah.
you said, you can take a jacket, and he's like, well, not now, I'm all sweaty.
Yes, right, yeah, that's,
So that might be something to think about too, is if we could get a space that's air conditioned or has fans.
I remember that one of the, took pity on us, one of the janitors took pity on us, he found the largest thing in high
Oh,
school,
fan.
a fan
Yeah,
that it
hurricane
had.
fan, yeah.
And he opened up the doors, which he said, I'm not supposed to. Well, okay, thanks, and so he did that. So, all right, so maybe even June we'd wanna be elsewhere than at the school.
Yeah.
Now, the other thing is, we were quite successful, and I sometimes think that was part of the whole draw for people to come, was something to eat, something to drink. In other words, we had, those cookies. Mark was part of the brigade, and I know Joanne touched 2 different people. One was at Belmont, and I think.
No, Shaw's and
Shaw's,
Panera
Shaw's.
were the 2 people that donated.
Yeah, I don't know if you wanna revisit them again, just, I can just claim it's a similar speaker series to the one we had for the 300th, and whether they would be interested in donating again. I mean, I don't think it was the absolute draw, but I think it didn't hurt people coming in.
Who else do you have in your posse? It's you, Karen, to help administer this program? Because like we will help, with setup and whatnot. But you're right, with Joanne and others for the 300th, there's a lot of
Well, actually,
hands.
I was responsible for contacting each one
Yep.
speaker and working with Mark and Steve to bring in the refreshments. And then I also would talk like Christian McBurney always wanted to sell books. So I went to Michelle at Wakefield Books, and she always showed up. Erica Luke, if it was something that they had something, I think she had a topic that she could relate to and bring in a few items, she would do that. So there were other people I always kept in contact with. And then each speaker, the next speaker would show up for about 5 or 10 minutes just to get the lay of the land of where they would put their stuff. And then they would usually get a cup of coffee and a cookie and leave. In other words, they were done with that. But the next month, they were ready to go. They knew what to do next. So
Well, I guess, is this all the people? Are there a few other people?
Yeah, I mean, this is a core working group.
I guess just ask when we need it, right?
Well, and to your point, yes to that, and I think really what we're talking about is now that we're funded, now every group, every team, get your needs lists, set your own target dates. I mean, you're well underway as far as the speakers, and we'll support you. If you don't have any volunteers to do specific items, we'll support you directly.
Okay.
We can spread the word. I think what we want to do is also kind of push outward. I remember Pat, she made the first couple meetings, she said, just let me know when you need a volunteer. So we think there's going to be other volunteers that will jump on board after we get the assignment squared away.
And the other thing I used to do is put a piece in the paper. We had that guy, he no longer is with the Independent. He used to come, Joanne and I kind of curried our relationship with him so that he always showed up and reported on the speaker.
Oh,
Yeah, he doesn't seem to be
not
writing
Ben.
anymore
No,
for
he's
that.
not writing.
no, I forget who that was, but
Yeah, well, there's a couple of new people. Maybe I could approach one of them and get them to be interested. They would make sure that it would be noted, maybe just a graph or 2 graphs, just simply saying, next Thursday, there will be a speaker, blah, blah, blah. And then we'd get a reporter who would put in, maybe a half a column of who that was. So that gives you, the public relations is still going as we did before. So in other words, basically what I'll do is just repeat what I did before and hope it
with a new
lightning
report.
strikes
Yeah.
twice, yeah.
Well, and again, I think going back to some prior meetings, I think the idea is that for the Saugatuck Skirmish, for the speaker series, the town beach party, we come up with our elevator speech, our talking points, and we're going to want to have a handout, something that's helpful for those of us who might want to do some fundraising. That also is fodder for the subsequent marketing. Joe Bailey at Southern Rhode Island Chamber of Commerce, he wants to know what's going on. We can post our information on his community calendar. And then, yes, we can talk at a high level with the news outlets, and this is what we've got planned for the year. And then, then it's just a one-off. It's as events
Right.
come up. We were about a month or so out. Start talking to them, see if they can get interested, and do a special piece.
Joanne had a contact. Who's the woman that oversees the Independent and the Narragansett Times? I forget her name, but
She was supposed to speak and then didn't.
right. But she,
you know.
I think she allowed for or set up the mechanism for a consistent something
So
in
we
the
can put
paper,
something in the
or the
paper
right,
and
and
then
in
have a
the
reporter show up.
they had like a
Oh, do you want the
press
guy
release?
who, Oh, I'm
No,
sorry,
but that's
sorry.
okay,
Yeah.
that's okay.
He videotaped. He didn't do the first one because he
Jerry
wanted to get-
Krause.
Jerry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Jerry
He,
Krause.
he didn't do the first one because he wanted to be paid and Joanne wouldn't pay him. But then she convinced him that, well, we're all volunteers, nobody gets paid. And so he started showing up and running every one. I can get a hold of Jerry again, see if he'd have some interest in taping it, if you wanna have it preserved, you know, that part of it. And he did taped other stuff that in the 300th too.
Oh my, he showed up to everything.
Yeah.
He did.
Yeah, would you ever get a final product from him?
I
don't
haven't
think so.
seen.
No, we
but-
saw him at the news last month. Remember, he came in
Mhm.
and we asked the same question. It's like, I think he's got a YouTube channel.
Oh, does he? Yeah.
I don't
Oh,
think there's
yeah,
many.
yeah, that's right.
Anyway.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
But-
think a lot of stuff is probably on YouTube.
yeah, all right, so I just line them all up. I
So,
guess.
so yeah, and going off of memory, I guess as you're settling on a place, at least for the high school, there was like the buntings, and there was just some things that we did to dress up the stage, so it
We
looked
had
right.
bunting?
Well, we used to have that
We
large
had a
plaque.
sign
There was a sign.
A sign?
that
The
just said
300th
speakers,
anniversary.
it was very basic, but it was on an easel up
Yeah.
on the stage,
Yeah.
300th anniversary
That
speaker
was-
series,
Yeah.
it had the logo,
Okay.
you know.
I've forgotten that, yeah.
Yeah, so
That's
we can
easy
get
enough. We
we
can
can
do
get a
that.
250th sign to put up on these like that. And
Once
you
you get
have,
a-
you have bunting that we can put up.
Yeah, but I don't remember we put up bunting for the Medal of
Medal of
Honor
Honor
thing, like that
Yeah,
was,
that's
I-
only
I
we put
don't
a
think
bunting
we-
for.
no,
yeah.
I don't think
But
so.
that's, I mean,
Medal of Honor was something separate from the speaker series.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we never put up bunting for the speaker series.
No, no,
Yeah.
it was just the sign sitting on a folding chair. It was that primitive,
But it worked.
but it worked.
yeah.
So, there was some email changes over the last week or so with Laurel at the library. So she's, got plans, concepts of plans. So she's starting to formulate her calendar. So again, I think I'd look for you to just touch bases with Laurel.
Okay,
And again, we're not trying to force anything, but I think what we're trying to do is just complement each other.
right.
So if
yeah.
you're gonna pick the third Thursday of the month, that makes perfect sense to me. It's predictable, it's something you can put in your calendar and go to. Look at the different locations. High school seems to make sense, but again, depending on what you ultimately think about, if there's some synergy in Kingston. I know that the town manager and the council wanted to highlight Kingston Free Library. It may be that what Laurel does is plenty for highlighting the library, and that's fine.
I think we'd also talked about when Laurel was here about the scavenger hunt. She might be better equipped to manage that than we are. So Sharon brought the scavenger hunt, and I think Laurel was like, yeah, or we had talked about her maybe doing that.
Yeah, and when we say we gotta be careful. Like, there's literally gotta be somebody that's gonna own the work.
Yeah,
Well, I
see
know,
this,
that's what I'm
this
saying,
is what
so-
you presented, right? So you wanna kind of stick with,
We
Yeah, I thought the
are,
scavenger hunt was gonna be the historic district.
Was it
I
them?
don't- It
Yeah,
wasn't this committee.
No,
We
it
didn't-
wasn't us, but I didn't remember if it was historic committee or
well,
oh, the
I- I-
Kingston
Kingston Library. So
Improvement Association.
Neighborhood Association, what, yeah.
Yeah,
Improvement
yeah,
Association,
I
yeah.
honestly think if we can get Laurel to do it at the library, it's a central place someone could go to and pick up a piece of paper that says scavenger hunt from South Kingston, and they can have on all the libraries around here
Oh,
at the door.
Yeah, I agree with that, but I don't think we have to get her to do it. Like, if she does it, that's fantastic. We've bitten off enough.
Yeah, okay, I got you.
But, and then at our last couple of meetings, I tried to catch it in the minutes to keep you up
Oh,
to speed.
you did well, Kate.
But it sounded like Laurel has enough going on and Sharon has enough going on that is gonna maybe integrate with what you're doing, so it probably makes sense for the three of you to get together
Sure.
and just
Yep,
kind
that's
of
fine.
Mm.
bring your resources together.
Interlock.
Yeah,
all right.
yeah.
So, so it seems like wintertime, you've got access to the high school, that's great. So summertime, you have to figure out where you go. And again, if contemporary theater works out, or some other place, if it's super hot, you wanna have AC,
Yeah,
yeah, we should start exploring those options. I don't know if there's, you know, any need or desire to spread things around to Peacedale, to, you know, Main Street or over to Kingston. But I think the more specificity you have, the closer we get.
The more, what was that word?
Specificity.
Okay.
And I think we had a goal of, I want to say maybe end of August. We wanted to say, all right, we know where we're going to hold things. We know the dates. We know the times. We've got things kind of locked
Yeah.
down. That's when we do kind of like a press release. We'd say, okay, here it is. Interesting enough, Sharon just sent out an email to us, and I guess North Kingstown is starting to promote that same vibe on their website. I checked the calendar of events. I didn't see anything populated yet, but yeah, we're going to give ourselves a couple of months.
Ken, there was also, Gil and Delia was going to do, he does that walk around, he's kind of done it more than once. Walk around, he starts at Tavern Hall and he goes all the way down, over the hill, but, you know, next to the college, and then he'd take a right and he comes back up and does a few houses, including his own, I guess, on, Kingstown Road. So he does that like every spring or every, maybe fall too, but that's not really a speaker, but I mean, I went with Gil when he did one of his talks, and I thought that, I mean, that would be an integrating another kind of talk rather than necessary, because he likes to do that, I guess, for Kingstown or West Kingston.
Yeah, that's great, because I think that depending on who you've got lined up, that could be one of the 9, but Laurel's already working with him.
That's
Right,
what
so
I
that's
saw
one
that.
that-
Yeah, leave Gil to do his thing on his own with her, you know, she can.
But if you wanna kind of count that as one of the 9, that,
You could, it would be an outside thing.
Maybe that's a
Yeah,
Sunday.
and that would be okay. The day I went was rainy, it was kind of, you know, it was damp and drizzly.
that was a good talk.
Yeah, and then the church opened up and had a lunch, I think, like a soup and sandwich, I think, at the end of that talk. Well, I mean, I can speak to Gil. I wasn't thinking of him as one of the speakers, but I could speak to him about the Kingstown. Maybe we could integrate it in.
Yeah, I
No.
think you speak with Laurel and see what she's doing, what she's got him scheduled for already,
Okay.
and that may fit
All right,
with
all right,
what you're looking at. And
all
then-
right.
So Kate, I wonder if, on our master calendar or whatever we have, if we can have like not 250th things, but maybe 250th adjacent things,
Yeah.
would be something like that.
Adjacent,
Yeah, that's what I think North Kingstown is doing. So
Yeah,
there's a list of their calendar of events, and yeah, I would assume at some point, bona fide events we can ask to get put on the town's calendar.
Yeah,
events.
oh, yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
With maybe
definitely
a link
figure
that
out
links
Oh, yeah.
to
how
them.
we
Yeah, related events.
put up.
Yeah.
And then and again, weave that over to the Chamber of Commerce and their events.
Yeah.
Yeah, that works out. And I think to your point, this is just being aware, cognizant of all the other moving pieces,
Right.
what Kingston Free Library is doing, what Kingston Improvement Association is doing. Just learned, Terry mentioned that
On
Friday
Facebook,
night,
you mean?
there's an author that's speaking at the Tavern Hall Club,
Yeah.
gentleman that wrote,
300
yeah, you wrote,
had their
yeah,
own.
that's.
yeah, the book for the,
We'll talk about that.
From Slaves to Soldiers. So, you know, so that can help just emphasize the activity,
Yeah.
the theme, you know, and it doesn't necessarily all have to be us.
Yeah.
Hey, there she is. You're here exactly when you're here, so that's
I didn't
good.
know if you started the meeting or not.
Yeah.
The chair
At
recognizes
5.
Ms. Sharon Henderson.
Was it 5 o'clock?
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's okay. So, yeah, so after the March, April, May event, so how many other speaker events will you need? June, July?
Like, starting in January, we're gonna run until September.
So
Okay.
four after May,
300th
June,
ran
July,
all the way
August.
till, December. You're speaking about that gift, I'm on the board for the Tavern Hall,
Okay, great, yeah.
and,
Oh, yeah.
and Delia and Ed, who's the president of it, they asked, would I do a speaker series? I said, you're kidding me, and they said, no. But there are different kinds of speakers, but you never can tell when you might get someone who wants to be a history, has something to say for history for the Tavern Hall, because that's their honest buck,
Yeah, yeah.
is to have speakers come and once a month. But sometimes there are musicians,
Yes.
sometimes there are
On this.
other types
did
of
I
people
miss?
who show up.
We're kind of bouncing around.
If I
We,
could even do something
Did he
like
get
that,
the
even
money?
though the Tavern Hall
Good, okay.
is on
So we're
another
kind of
night or
bouncing
something, but
around.
I might be able
But we
to, if
haven't
they get
talked about
somebody,
that yet.
to ask them if they wanna become a speaker, so, or tangential
Sure,
speaker.
yeah. That's okay. I was gonna ask you, for the 300th, how did you do the honorariums? Did you get like a W?
Yeah,
Yeah.
W-
that was-
W-9s.
Yes, I remember working with Terry
yep,
about that.
W-9s, we set them up with vendors, needed an invoice from
From them.
those who got
Yeah.
honorariums.
Not everybody, some people did it as a donation.
Yes, correct.
And others had their handouts, so I mean, you gotta, I'll have to play that one-on-one to see how they
Yeah.
do that.
Right.
Can I ask, have you got a list already?
Yeah,
Okay, so you've closed your list.
no, I haven't closed on
Okay.
this, it's out there floating around, and so therefore, if you had, I know you have Christian McBurney, who would have been on my list, but if you have Christian doing his particular thing around a book that he should be published by 26, right?
By February.
February.
But there's some other people too, so I'll just talk to you about
Yeah,
that. You didn't
sure,
come with a
yeah,
list and
it-
say, here they are, and we're,
No,
okay.
it's not in stone.
Okay, well, on him, I'm working with
It's
the
in mud.
the
which means it
librarian,
couldn't get solidified.
a library director, and she and I talked,
Yeah.
and we're going to do, she's taking these books, and she's pulling from all over her libraries, these two, in art history,
Yeah,
and this
yeah.
one. And this guy, we probably can get to speak right here. But anyway, and she's gonna have a book read to build the concept for Christian. So these are about, as you know, these are about the slave
Yeah, right.
Revolutionary Battalion 1, okay?
Uh-huh.
And so I talked to him about this, and we were talking about sponsoring a book read. A book. Yeah, it's a book. It's not. They're having the book read, but I don't know what this is called. But you basically have almost a party, and you introduce his book, and they've read these, so they got the background. And it'll be a book signing for him as well. It won't. It'll be after he's got his book
So
out.
a book read is, the author reads from the text?
No, no, not really.
It's like a book discussion
It's
group,
a-
right?
Oh, book
Yeah.
discussion.
And then
With
you
the
buy
author
his book
there.
instead of it being a lecture.
An author event, okay.
Yeah, an author event. And so these are for you guys, and these are the
Really, 250.
Can Chloe have one?
of course.
Thank
I've
you.
got plenty. And it's in here, one of these book events. Okay, so this is what the American Association for State and Local History has put out for this. Okay, and so if we can get some ideas about some things. That's where I was getting some of my creative ideas was out of this book. So that's the only thing I know I'm getting off the subject. But that's the only thing I wanted to make sure I got with you. I'm so sorry I was late. I was sitting there going, okay, I'm going to come right in on time.
Well, you were sorely missed.
But I'm adult diagnosed ADD. I had to go all through school and nobody knew it, and I was out the window and all that. So you just have to excuse me for detail.
Well, I think Mark brought up the point of doing speaker series adjacent, events. So it sounds like what you're talking about could line up very nicely with whatever speakers are programmed.
And the other thing I'd like to say about that is he has really reached out to us, and that's at Contemporary Theater. And he really wants to offer that as a place free. Yes.
Do you have his contact info?
Yes, I do.
Can I snag that from you?
Yeah, I'll get it for you.
So
I'll
last
send it
night
to
we were
you.
at the council meeting and the consultant and the project manager for the new school went over the schedule. So it feels like the school will be available until like late May, early June of 26. So As far as predictability, familiarity, plenty of parking, that school's available January to, let's say, May. But then there's the June through September where there's a gap, and then there's.
And I think they'd love that because they're trying to encourage like the, what is it called? The, League of Women Voters to come, for that to be a civic place, where people say, hey, this is open. He wants it to be known. He wants people to participate. He wants anything civic is free. However, he's got a schedule. It's out. You can get the schedule now.
The one thing to consider, and I think it could be a good thing, is if you're gonna do this on Thursdays, I think River Fire is typically on Thursdays.
I have those dates, and they're only doing monthly now. They're not doing, they're gonna do one, well, actually, I don't have the dates for 2026. I take that back. I have the
Yeah.
dates for this year.
But it could be an
Yeah.
opportunity if everything kind of fell into place and you got good weather, you got plenty of space at CTC. If there was a preceding, speaker series, then you've got all that activity on Main Street, and you got River Fire.
Well, like ice cream
could be
cones.
And
nice.
they open their bar.
The bar. There's
Maybe we
a bar.
could get Brickley's
You
to
said
donate.
there's a lot of parking.
Well, they've already come up with a flavor for us.
There's two municipal parking lots on either side of.
I don't think they're that big, do you?
They're
No,
not
but then
huge.
the elementary school is
The
another
elementary school
parking
is
area
right
that
Oh,
you
the
walk
elementary
right
school?
across
Yeah, yeah.
the bridge
Remember that, yeah.
on
You
street
know,
parking.
it just occurred to me, how about Curtis Quarter Middle School do they have an
I
auditorium? for
heard
middle
it's
school?
not good.
I'm sure they're
They've
not
let it go.
keeping up with
Oh,
it.
that-
It's been sitting dormant for however
Oh,
long.
what's the
It's
middle
moldy.
school they're using now?
Not that one.
Not
Oh,
that
Oh,
one.
Broad Rock, you mean?
Yeah, Broad
Well,
Rock.
I thought Curtis Corner was
I
still
like being
open.
down in
Oh, no,
town.
no, it's been closed.
Oh, well, there you go.
Although the high school was kind of central to,
Yeah.
I guess if you lived on Matunic Road, maybe it wouldn't be that central, but everywhere else it seemed to be central. So, but Contemporary Theater is also, I can be facetious and say maybe we can hustle Brickley's to have free ice cream cones. They're not
Well, they are
free
making a
ice cream.
patriotic flavor for us.
Not in the summer.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
What's it called?
Not in the summer.
It's gonna be something like raspberry, vanilla, and blueberry, something like, some patriotic colors. But he's doing it for us.
Oh,
So you can go over and have one of the patriotic cones.
Sounds good.
It does sound good.
That's
I-
gonna
Yeah.
be the feature.
Nope, vanilla.
Well, it has to swirl, red, white, and blue, it has to swirl
Swirl
in
it
it.
with vanilla.
You don't get any taste of it, you get
Are you
very
done with the
tasty.
budget, Ken?
Uh,
Or do you wanna just circle back?
Yeah,
Or
we-
just,
So let's, we're gonna go back to 3A, the budget, so,
And I have some more to add to that.
okay,
So
so,
you can't have your budgets until you see this.
okay, so let's say
It's not the flowers and the wreath anymore.
the funding has been approved, conceptually through the council last night, so 30,000 is what we're working with. I think you folks may have seen the breakdown. So every program is funded. We're still gonna try to do some fundraising, we're still going to apply for grants, and we'll work with the town to figure out, if that's a backfill, or if it's an addition, it feels like it might be a blending of both. We'll see.
All the way down.
And I'd suggest, in regard to the, well, let me take a pause here.
oh, I got two, sorry.
Sharon, where we started to go with John and Karen on the speakers is, now that we've been boxed in, now we can and should start to flesh out each of the programs a little bit more in detail, with the intent of having a really good understanding of the program that we're gonna put on, the programs, so that by the end of the summer, we can actually memorialize this for marketing. What's up?
Well, this
Are
is
you-
mine finalized.
You're hearing him?
Yes, by the
Okay,
end of
just-
the summer.
I just wanted
Yeah.
to make sure,
Yeah.
because you yourself,
Yeah,
to
I know.
claim-
No, by the end of the summer, he wants to memorialize it. He broke it down, and he wants
Okay.
grants, and,
Yeah.
yeah, I heard the whole thing.
And the last one, just to round up the budget, and then anybody else can just jump in, is we talked about letters to legislators. I think that we can double check with Lauren, but I believe that most of that interest is being wrapped into this disbursement of funding coming from the Secretary of State's, which is wrapped into the state budget. So we have to wait until basically mid-June.
Yes, that, for all of us, right? And something else starts.
So, I mean, that's all I had for budget items. I did do some line item estimating. We did it for the Town Beach event, we did it for the skirmish, we did it for the speaker series. So Sharon, I think you're.
I've got a new addition here. I've got
Okay, what you got?
another way to approach this.
Okay.
So,
Floor is yours, man.
well, I don't know if you want to do that now or not.
Well, I mean, it's in terms of the budget. So did you have?
Yes,
Okay.
both of these papers, one of them is basically, I'd like to tell you where I've been, and that is I'm hooking up with Carol Stedman, who's a librarian.
Yep.
You know who I'm talking about? I believe she's African, or would you say, a person of color. And her dad is giving me diaries, they're getting books and everything, and they are so excited about this, they can't even stand it, okay? And I worked, Guy, do you know Guy? I'll think of his last name in a minute. Anyway, and so they're very excited about the possibility of this going on and us finding. We have found, and we will be finding more. I found out there's more. They went to Dutch Island. Do you know where that is? Where's Dutch Island?
It's right off of.
Yeah, that's where they
Bonnet.
trained them. They know so much more than what we've seen than you even know. And so I'm going to get down to the nitty gritty. And I'm hoping she can co-chair this and will come on the committee, actually. And so we are going to work together. And if you read this, we're going to have a ceremony that includes this and actually build another monument. You know those rock monuments, those boulders. You know when you come into the University of Rhode Island, there's one right there on the left. Have you ever seen it?
I built it. Not personally. I managed it.
Oh, this
Which
was.
one?
This is done. I was going to say, wow, this is done in World War I. I'm sorry.
Oh, you mean the arches?
No,
Sorry.
there's a plaque on the arch, but when you go in, there is a boulder on the left.
Yeah,
and
it's a war monument.
It's
It was,
World
yeah.
War One.
Yeah, yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
something like that with their names on it.
Oh, gotcha,
Okay,
gotcha.
and it's a bronze on a boulder. Now
Yep.
I can get the boulder free, and I can get it, but I got to pay for the bronze, and that's going to. I'm waiting for the to come in, the grant, not the grant, but the what do you call it? It's not detailed yet, but about or how much that would cost.
Okay.
Oh, the quote.
The
Yeah,
quote.
yes,
That's
right.
the word, quote. Thank you.
Gotcha. Okay. So who are you memorializing? Is it a?
Okay, I'm going to memorialize, we are going to memorialize 107. If you read the one that says honoring our local heroes, I've already done a bunch of this. I've been out flagging graves.
Okay.
We're going to honor 107 members of Revolutionary War soldiers who are recognized by their, it's in here, by their names being listed on the monument. Okay, 107 of them. The ones that were left off are, I think there's 30 that have been left off and growing, and they did not choose to put them on for whatever reason. We're not going to go into that, but we want to honor them and have them, you know, we want to celebrate them as well. So at this commemoration, there will be, it's going to be formal. It's going to have, you know, reenactors. I've gotten in touch with the reenactors with the big hats on you saw.
Sure.
Those guys, those family members, music, stories, honor guard, that whole thing. I haven't got that planned, but that's what it's going to be.
Okay.
And it's for everybody. So we would read 107 names, and we would also commemorate at the same time one bunch, and not go into anything. But here we are. We've got 137 now.
Okay.
Not say, oh, we're not talking. Oh, how horrible. This is not the thing. It's to include everybody because they fought for us. Okay, and they're not on our monument, and we're gonna.
So it's a single day event
Right.
where you're presenting, you're
Yep.
unveiling, and you've got
Yep.
period actors.
just make it one thing.
Yeah. Okay. That's
Do you have a estimated date for that? This will be like
No, I
after
don't
July
have a
4th
date
sometime?
yet. I don't. It'll be in the summer. I've got
Okay.
summer.
Okay, that's
Okay.
fine.
All right.
You did a similar thing on a Saturday morning, if I remember right.
Yeah,
With the
in
300.
with the 300th in the cemetery.
In the cemetery.
This is going to be on the school grounds.
But is it a similar organization? the way we're talking?
Sort of like that, yeah.
All right.
The, which monument are you talking about?
At a hazard school.
Okay,
You know where the Hazard School
Yeah.
is next to high school?
Yeah, I know
Well,
where
there's
that
a
monument,
big,
yes.
we had one I was on the state committee for World War One, okay?
Is there room
Ramondo's.
for all the names?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
No, not on that one, you make your own, there's gonna be a second one, a
And,
boulder.
and it's gonna be at the Hazard School?
It's gonna be at the Hazard School as well, that's where it is, that's where the other ones are. We wouldn't put them somewhere else,
So that's where, like,
that's town property.
I understood, right, but that's, the new school is gonna be built around that, right?
Yeah,
It'll
I
be
think
behind
Hazard
it.
School is staying in place, I think.
Right, they're
So
building around
that
it, but
corner,
yeah, it's gonna get re-landscaped, I would
maybe,
assume.
right.
They're not gonna touch that school, that's a historic preservation.
Not the school, but they're changing the whole traffic patterns,
Uh-huh.
right? So,
Have you seen the monument?
yeah, it's what, you mean the one where the flagpole is?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
it's a circle, it's got
Yeah.
Gorham Eagles on
Yeah,
it. So
yeah.
we had a
No, it's
huge
beautiful.
ceremony there for the 100th anniversary, a commemoration, what do you call it, the 100th? Centennial of the World War One was there, and it was a lot of people, Kissimmee Yarn, it was huge. So we had chairs out, and whoever brought the chairs, I think, was from the town, because the town was
You're
there.
looking at her.
Oh, you did, okay. All right, so I know you did the one over there, but I didn't know if you were doing it back then or not in 16. Okay.
2016, yeah.
Oh, no, 2018. So
That
that's the same, so that's why I envisioned that it could be done because we did it. There's parking there, and we just have to,
Have you spoken to anybody at the town about putting it there?
no, I'll ask.
Okay.
I don't think it'll be a problem.
And one other thing, I know when they put the monument in at Saugatucket Park, they established a monument committee. They went through significant research for confirming that every single person, it's.
Right, I
from
know
the
that, and
clerk's
that.
office, that's
right,
very
and
important.
And it's very important, but when they did this one in 32, they didn't go through that process. I have the Narragansett Times, they gave everybody 3 days to make sure what they had was right.
I believe that, but I think
And I wanted to
it
be
may
on that
be a
committee.
little more stringent to make sure that we're verifying.
Well, the
And you,
people.
you can look into
Yeah.
that. I'd suggest
I've got a
talking
lot
to
of
the clerk's
support
office.
from the town on this, a lot of support.
So are the burial
I don't
sites-
doubt that.
Are the burial sites on the Rhode Island Historic Cemetery?
Yes,
Okay, so,
Yes.
so you can find it there.
I can find it, but
Okay.
the
Most of
slave,
them
the
there.
slave graves are gone. They put slaves outside the walls. They're all gone. They dug them out. They're just knobs. You've seen them, just stones.
Oh,
There's
yeah.
no, there's gonna be no flagging of slave graves. But but I am flagging right now. I just did one right where Tuckertown Road meets Kingstown. I went in there and flagged and I photographed.
Yeah, but it's kind of coming back to the new monument, the boulder with the plaque.
Uh-huh.
It sounds like one of the very first steps is gonna be contacting, did you say it was the town clerk?
I know
Town clerk
that,
doesn't even have these names, so,
It-
but I'll go through the process, I know, because I was gonna be on that committee. And I couldn't because I'm on the Historic District Commission.
I'm just trying to save us some, like, you know, angst. If, let's start at the beginning and make sure you.
Oh, I'll do that for sure, I know her,
Okay.
she already knows we're
Nicole.
doing this, so yeah.
But it may be there needs to be a separate committee if we're following what happened at the Saugatucket Memorial.
We
They
just
have
want to
a
make
committee.
sure, I think the information, this is important, important information.
right.
And you want to just verify, and I'm not, maybe it's all on the record somewhere, but
What
this
they-
is Revolutionary War
What they
time,
did
so-
at the Saugatucket was, when they put that in, they had a fundraiser, and they put KIA, that's number one, wrong by everybody who died. That's number one. Number two.
That's fine.
And
I'm-
then when
I'm
they
not
did, they
referring to that.
restored, when they
I'm just referring to
restored back,
the
it was
project
back
you're
in
doing.
18, when I was on that committee, not that committee, but the state committee, they took the Veterans Committee, and they used it, Steve Alfred, focused them on this monument. And the reason they did is because an article was written in the Independent about what horrible shape it was in, and I'm the one that brought it to everybody's attention. It was falling apart. So they decided to restore it, and they decided to redo it. And that group that's on that committee, which Steve, who's our guy? Steve Stewart is the chair on that committee. And all these people, they got together and did that monument, okay? And they will probably get together and do this monument.
When you say do this monument, do you mean they will pay for it?
I don't think, I'm gonna try to get some money for them, from the town, for the monument, yes.
So,
Okay, and who else are you working with a historical society on this as well?
No, I'm working with these people that wrote these books that are historians in this area. I'm not just, it's just not me doing this. I've got historic connections. The Rhode Island Historical Society is working with me. Is that good enough?
Well, no, I'm just asking a question.
Yeah.
I'm not saying good enough, bad enough. I'm just
Okay,
asking a question.
yes, the Rhode Island Historical Society is
Okay.
one of them, and there's several. You know,
Okay.
these people are members of those societies.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, it's very historical, and it's very documented correctly, let's put it that way.
So I think one challenge is gonna be I think some of the other projects or programs are a lighter lift as far as entitlements, like, so we have a budget that's been endorsed by the council. We're rounding out, we're fleshing out what these events look like. And the idea is that we'll kind of flesh out those bones over the next couple of months, and we're gonna publish a schedule of events, let's say in August, people shake off the summertime, vibe, and prep them, as they go into the holidays. Then we jump into speaker series, Saugatuck Skirmish, more speaker series, 4th of July, and we go on. So I think it'd be a challenge to kind of pull all those pieces together by August and say, I've got my approvals. Like, we know the school is going to, reshape that entire landscape. So you've got to go to the school
I can
committee.
do all that. I work hard.
Understood, right? It's just time is really, the challenge. And then we talked about anything above and beyond what the town can give us, we've got to raise the money. So we're gonna set aside a little bit of money to do some marketing. Again, part of that, it's hand in glove. It's like, we know what we wanna do, so let's memorialize it on a handout so we can go approach people, we can do mailings, go for low hanging fruit, because it feels like a monument could be expensive.
Yeah.
It should be. I mean, it should be worthy of those that,
It's what I have envisioned talking with the people. It's a 36 by 28 bronze, and you have to get a boulder. And I know Guy Stanton can get a boulder because that's what he does. He builds those walls.
Yeah.
You get a boulder and you shave it so it's flat in
Sure,
there. And
no,
if you
I
look
totally
at that boulder, I don't know if it's a boulder or not. URI, it's like that, and then you attach it to. There's a whole process, and we've got the people in town to do that. However,
$8,000 to
it's cost money.
$10,000. $8,000 to $10,000.
I don't think it's going to be that much, and I
All
hope
in?
not.
All in, all right.
I'm going to try to get in-kind donations,
Well,
things like that,
There it is. So you
And-
start somewhere. So I
And this,
shocked
and
you
this
by, so you're bringing
community,
it,
this
you're bringing it up
community
back.
is
That's
so
fine.
excited. They're going to do everything and anything to have this done. They are so excited about it.
Okay.
So I've been working on this like day and night, and I was in this morning. No, is it this morning? Yeah, at 7 o'clock, I was in a cemetery getting it ready for this weekend, which looks like it's going to rain that same one. I was in there cutting, and I go all the time. So I will be down there talking to all these people, and believe me, and ask them how they can help.
Okay, well, so, and I think as a group, we don't want to be at cross purposes. So I think we've got basic funding for most of the events. We've got some, I'm gonna call it seed funding for your event as well. And with the intent of trying to raise some more money. And it feels like your program could use some more funding. It's a heavy lift, but it seems like you're up for the charge. I like to have entitlements, like to know who owns the property. And again, to your point, Terry, if we're memorializing folks and families and they have descendants that are still here, we wanna make sure we're actually doing right by them, and instead of, as you mentioned, on some of those other monuments, if they're incorrectly referencing KIA or whatever.
When I went to the town meetings, it seems like the school owns that property, the school
do.
and the town, okay? So, it's like the Wakefield School, the town owns it, but the school manages, that kind of the way this is, the town owns it, but the school manages it. Just think about the new school being built, you've been at every one of those meetings.
Well, isn't it complicated? I mean, it's
It
complicated.
is, it's all town property.
Yeah, that's
And-
what I'm saying.
But
And who manages it? And that's why the monument was completely almost gone, because the school was supposed to be taking care of it. Now, that's not what they do, you know what I'm saying? So they just left it alone. So
Okay.
it's gonna have to be the community.
So, as we were talking with John and Karen earlier on the speaker series, so John and Karen have the speakers lined up. We're talking about the location of the events. And the ask of the group is just to say, okay, now round it out. Like, you know, do you need buntings, or do you wanna have snacks? You know, we gotta go, you know, check once, twice, thrice, you know, check the PA system, make sure if it's the third Thursday of each month, everything's lined up. And then after that information is consolidated, you have a bona fide program, it's like, then how can we help? Then we'll do the call for volunteers to make sure that all those events are taken off, so.
Can I say one
Go
more
ahead.
thing about that?
Yep.
At the Contemporary Theater, if Mark will remember, we were going to have the Medal of Honor ceremony there outside, and it rained. And so we had everything set up so we know they have the chairs, they have the sound system, they have everything.
Actually, they didn't have the chairs. The town
We
provided
had
the chairs.
Yeah, we had
Is that who provided the chairs?
The town provided the chairs. I think the town, did you provide the PA system as well?
It could have been our portable, I
I
don't
think it was our
know.
portable PA system as well.
You know, but listen, I think the speaker series is on a good track, so what I'm hearing, and this makes sense, this sounds wonderful, I'm just, like, there's a lot of pieces that have to fall into place for it to make it successful, so we just wanna help you make it successful. So if you can go back and flesh out all the needs, what your needs lists are, and as you're getting quotes, all those bits and pieces, all that is helpful, because then we can see how far away we are and how many other resources we need to pull in to make it happen. And it's always great to have a backup plan too. Because I think the content that you have is excellent. And I think it really resonates with our town. It speaks to the current, you know, demographic, and it certainly speaks to, you know, way back when.
Well, and the last thing I'll say about this is the Secretary of State knows about it, and I was told that this is not happening in just our community. And so I think he wants to make it a state thing.
Yeah, no, it's important, and I think it should. You know, Keith Stokes has been posting a lot about this, as he's now the state historian. You know, it's wonderful.
Keith, yeah.
Yeah, this is good
Maybe there'll
stuff.
be state funds available for that.
Yeah, did you have anything else you want to talk about in terms of, I know you had two handouts here?
Well, one of them is honoring our local heroes, which is the 107
Yep.
on the 1/32/1930. The other one is honoring the 25 or 30, whatever it is. We're coming up with more with the Boulder Bronze Memorial Stone, and it combines into the same ceremony. That's just a plan. It says some of the things we're going to use. It doesn't. I don't have it budgeted out, but that's what I intended to do. But it's like right now I don't have a standard budget for it, but I certainly will.
Okay, yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Ken,
Yes.
I think one of the things that we used as a tool for the 300th was a standard program form with all the information on it when we were doing press releases and whatnot. I don't know if we want to use that. It might be helpful to push out so that it just has the basic details and a budget. And this way, at least for my purposes as the town, there are things that came up over the course of the 300 that were very last minute, like, oh, we're gonna need this, or we're gonna need it. If we can get ahead of that, because we've been through this once, and I know what we can do to support and assist. We're gonna need chairs, or we're gonna need whatever, a sound system. That will be valuable to me. And what's the money situation? When do you need money? All of that, that's very, like, administrative, but I'm gonna need that information.
Right,
If we're gonna
and I
do this
understand.
and
I'm
be,
just saying, I just came up with the concept, so
I'm not
it's a little
talking just to
premature.
you, Sharon.
Okay, all right.
I'm talking about all of the programs so that
I think it's a great idea.
then we can compile them, put them on a spreadsheet, whatever, and then we know what we
Yeah.
have and where we have gaps. How many volunteers are you gonna need? How many, those types of things, because I have a concern about the people around this table being the only people that are gonna be available. And then,
I think for the summertime, I've got a list of people that volunteer for the 300th, and I can do a blast email out to those folks. And I did that in the wintertime, and I got a few responses back.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we're in Florida, so I mean, I'm not there
Right,
right
so
now.
it's just the
in
reality
summertime,
of,
So
you know.
next year when it comes time, Then we always have Pierre. So in the summertime next year, we could probably, some of those people will probably jump up and say, yeah.
Terry, what, I don't understand what that is, a standard program form. I don't know what you're really.
It's a
talking about.
description of the program so that some type of press release can be done. It's got,
Do
location,
you have
time,
that from
date.
the 300?
I do, yeah.
We used to have like a card, something about that we put in grocery stores, supermarkets, anybody who would.
That's more of a promotional piece. For
Yeah.
my purposes and our purposes, we're talking
You want
about
the
like
larger-
a-
the larger-
yeah,
It's
just like
telling
a,
her everything we need, how many
Yeah,
chairs,
yeah.
how many
Yeah, it'll be
speakers.
a needs list, so there's like
Mm-hmm.
contracted services, there's in-kind services,
right, right.
there's, yeah, it's always gonna be about the details, so I'm definitely coming in at a mile high. I think, the speaker series is pretty well defined. We've got some decent, detail on the skirmish, and we're hearing this first event. We haven't even talked about the Town Beach event, but that's, we still have some time, but that'll follow the same pattern. And I think the next time we meet, the idea is that we're critiquing it, and to Terry's point, is we get our needs all out there, and that has to be homework that we each take home with us. The next time we meet, we should be talking about some of the granular details of each event.
Yeah.
Just all, again, critique each other and just make sure we haven't forgotten anything.
right,
Then the next level effort will be to kind of synthesize that and to have it into a consolidated report, for Terry and the rest of the town folks, so they have a better understanding of what we need and when we need it. Some of the things are, again, we might have to be dealing with the purchasing department,
right.
I've reached out to Dennis at the Union Fire District. If anybody wants to have a fire event, even just a small one.
I would like to talk to that guy.
And just to get those entitlements out there and start talking about them. Get their estimates, because we have the estimates or actual cost from the 300th. And again, I think
Yeah.
we're moving towards that.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I know you did send over that form.
I did?
You did. I do
Oh,
have
no,
a
that was the
copy.
whole budget, wasn't it? Wasn't that the whole workbook?
You did.
Okay.
You sent that, but you also sent, hey, Ken, you sent it a couple months ago. This is what Joanne used to help organize the events. I remember it.
Wow,
And
I don't remember doing that.
You did a good job.
totally did. Congrats.
I have one more
Yes, sir.
question. So Sharon, you also mentioned something about a cemetery cleanup for next year.
Oh, for next year?
So you had one this year on,
We haven't had it, it's this weekend if it doesn't rain.
so this weekend, were you gonna have another one next year at this time of year, or do you wanna
I don't-
concentrate just on the one?
I don't know, what I've done with that is, I have an organization, South Kingstown Historic, the Friends of the
Friends
South
of
Kingstown
Historic
Historic
Yeah.
Cemeteries, Monuments, and Memorials,
Oh, yeah,
okay? And we, under
think I've
that.
seen them on
we
Facebook, yeah.
did- Yeah, we did that, and then and then my buddies who are the Boys in Blue, the sons of the Union veterans of the Civil War, they help me out and I help them out. And so what they're doing is they're coming over and they're literally in that cemetery gonna straighten the graves.
Yeah.
And they know how, there's a protocol to that. They're also we're gonna go in and do the one, Rodman, his cemetery. So
Okay.
I don't know how we're gonna do that. Just going out and finding 170 veterans is gonna be massive for me, because, it's gonna be a couple of us just taking photographs and then building a brochure out of it, so it's something we can say, here's what we did.
So that sounds like the cemetery cleanup might be one of those 250 adjacent things we can put on the calendar.
You can do cleanups, that'd be no problem.
Yeah, so no, what I'm saying is so the organization you're working with, Historic Cemeteries and Monuments Organization, so we can put a link in our calendar on the town's webpage to that organization.
Yeah.
And then whatever date that they have, that's in the local, in the South Kingston area, then those cemeteries, we can put a link on our calendar to that, so you can sign up here.
Okay. Yeah.
So that might be the best way to address that.
And to that, I sent you all in your email, if you can get it on your phone, I went and talked to the guy that's in charge of the 250 for North Kingstown. They've already got theirs up, they've already got their logo, they've got it, and you can go, and they linked it all to their website if you want to see that.
So I think the takeaway is, you definitely got your work cut out for you to help flesh out this program. It sounds great. The content is excellent. It needs to be talked about. And that was a great introduction at the State House a couple months ago when we appeared and they unveiled that the painting. It was wonderful. So
Have you seen the painting?
Yes.
Okay.
yeah. So
And
yes.
just one other thing, this is
Yeah.
related to what Terry said about having some kind of large, explanation of what this committee is about, that similar to what the 300th was, do you remember? Remember Brian Wallen wrote, some kind of, it was an insert, I think, into, he was one of the speakers. but
I
he
remember.
did this separate with Joanne, was an explanation of the 300th, and a month by month, or
Oh, it was a brochure that
Was
he
a
did.
brochure that-
Remember?
Oh,
Right.
yeah, that was the Independent. They did that.
Yes.
Yeah, Brian did that.
Yes.
Yeah, and that could be based upon what.
Brian wrote the intro,
he
the
wrote
whole
the
thing,
intro
and it
for-
had ads, that was a big, I think
That
Joanne,
was the magazine?
The magazine,
That was-
yeah.
That was
that
huge.
Wallen did that.
that
yeah.
was huge, and I don't know if, the South County Independent, what's the parent company? Southern Rhode Island Newspapers?
Yeah.
That's who Joanne had the connect with, and, did they do that complimentary? I don't think we paid for that, but that's not cheap, like, that would definitely be.
Negotiating to get there.
Noni was the girl. That's who
I'm just throwing that out, if we wanted to do such a thing, Wallen is one of the speakers, but, I mean, I could approach him, if you'd be interested, let's say, doing an introduction to any schedule that we might do, I mean, even if we did it on a much smaller basis.
Yeah, I think, that's, I think 3D, it's marketing, so I think to your point, I think we're close. We've got our projects identified, we're gonna flesh them out, make sure they fit within our budget so that we don't have any, and that we have entitlement, so we can actually hold the events. Speaker series, I think, is not an issue. We still have to talk about public safety for the skirmish. Town Beach, I don't think, we're not burning anything, so I don't think that's gonna be an issue.
Okay, Karen. Every time.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, I think, as we then consolidate that information, then yeah, I think then we're wanting to find those marketing channels.
Okay.
And we wanna talk to the Independent, we wanna talk to whomever we can. Now, this is, again, it's a national event, so it's not, we don't have the uniqueness of South Kingstown, so.
Right.
And as you pointed out, and I did look at the email, so North Kingstown, they updated their website, so they have some of their information, their content already up. So that-
And I'm just looking, is this
yeah.
an error, 2025 speaker series?
No, I was thinking the same thing.
February
I think
22?
what
That was
happens,
this year they did all
I
this?
think what's happening is this just gets lumped into the town schedule, a calendar of events.
Are you looking at
No,
their
is that
town
North
thing?
Kingstown?
No, they're
Well,
looking at
no,
North
what they,
Kingstown.
exactly,
So that was
that's
their
what he explained
350th.
it to me. No, what he did, it was their
No?
350th. What they did was, right now, because they don't have anything like us, they're kind of, what they're doing is they're just exactly what you said. They're
Yeah.
lumping it together, kind of like we're doing, like I already had this plan, this cleanup.
Right.
So I morphed it in to make it look like, we've got 3 military
Yeah.
grade. That's what they're doing.
Yeah, so they don't have all of their events programmed for 26. But what they're doing is they look at the town calendar of events, and we're in 2025. So you're seeing all their 2025 programming.
Ah,
So this is one marketing channel that we'll do. We'll have a bigger presence on the town website. Currently, The town 300th is still listed as a committee, the 250th isn't yet, it's just a splash. That's okay, that's a little side jab to Terry. Well, we just got funded.
Terry's not in charge of that.
We just got funded last night, so now we're.
Well, is there a specific
and I-
person we need to talk to about that?
Well, this is the point. Go ahead. I'm
No,
sorry.
Terry, don't take it down, Terry, because I used it as a reference.
It's not my place to take it down.
Oh, all right.
But I think, we're gonna put all those channels out there. We go to the Chamber of Commerce, we go, yes.
Yeah,
We gotta go
and
back
I
up
want
to
to
the
talk
state
about that. You keep on
250th.
looking at him, and you guys are. Why are you guys the only one going to the Chamber of Commerce?
Yeah.
And-
No,
man.
we
What the
went,
hell,
I went
man?
once.
Oh, I know, but I mean, I was supposed to go with you that morning, and it didn't, and you're going with somebody else. I mean, I like to market. I like to go talk to these people, and we got a committee here of 2.
So I think when you get the recognition program outlined and budgeted, I think then we've got something to talk about, and then we can start. If you wanna go talk to Joe, that's fine, you can.
Or talk
we
to,
can we can
or
talk to
that's
Joe.
what I'm saying. Or talk to anybody. Go talk
So
to
right now,
Rory at
the-
the bagel, or go talk to any of these people. I like to do that.
All right. So I think right now, back to the point here, I think we're gonna round out your programming. We're gonna make sure that we're here to support you on that. And again, it's literally a peer review. I want everybody to kind of beat up on each other's programs so that they're high caliber programs that are achievable. And once we get all that information consolidated, then we're doing the marketing channels, and we'll figure out who wants to go speak with who. It may be a little bit premature to start, getting out over our ski tips right now on some of our events, just because we're still formulating it. Like last night, we just got, I was honestly thinking if the council was going to bobble this, I'd think about coming to this meeting and say, guys, I got other things to do. As much as I want to do this, if the council can't get out of their own way, but fortunately, they supported it. So
Did we
now-
get 30?
We did.
And you know how much North Kingstown got? 25.
Okay, so yay. So this is day one, Sharon. This
I
is
know,
day
I
one.
know.
Day one, we're funded. Now we're moving with purpose. And again, I think in another couple of weeks, we'll start to round out. I will go back and look at the email you sent for that pro
Okay.
forma.
I'll pull
Uh,
up,
Yeah, or you can just send it out to the whole group and say, if we all use this form, then that can help us all speak in the
Yeah,
same
I
language.
love that form. That
Yeah.
gives us an outline to
Yeah.
get, to do detail.
Yeah.
I remember it from the 300.
Okay.
So, we're just kind of rifling through the events here. We talked about the speaker series at length. We thank you, Sharon, for giving the background on the military recognition and history. So it feels like you've got 2 talking points, but it's going to culminate in like a singular event. But again, you still got latitude to kind of round that out. The next one here is the skirmish. So we've been, kind of picking away at that. Ron Barnes, we had the conversation with him. He's now no longer the colonel, but he's still active. So we've got to jump in on that.
Yeah, so I'm gonna I emailed Ron Barnes before and says, hey, what's it gonna cost for each of these folks to come down and play with us? He's like, well, each one has their own thing, and so I don't know. So I will send him another email tomorrow and ask him for contact info for each one of those companies, regiments. And then I will just contact each one of those on their own and see what they would charge us.
Yep.
So we'll do that. And then I can contact the CTC this week to see if they have space for us. And I will go talk to Joe Valley on my own and see if I can just get access to his calendar. And that way we can put our stuff on the chamber's calendar.
Sure. And in regard to the skirmish, again, there's still like bits and pieces. The way I kind of program the stuff in my head, I'm like, yeah, we need, hay rides.
Yeah.
We got to get with the chief. We got to talk to him about police details. If we want to minimize our riding on High Street, just get up and over and then go down. We got to talk. You gave us the contact at Riverside Cemetery. And again, these are all avenues to explore. There's any number of obstacles that could stop it and say, no, that's not gonna happen. If you guys get a grant, the town gets a grant to demolish Wakefield Elementary School, it may not be there. You know, I don't think it's gonna happen that quickly, but I know that Jamie and others have been
Yeah.
putting grants in to demolish the school. Yeah, we should reach out to Wakefield Village Association. Hey, we're gonna do this event in February. It's kinda dead out there that time of year, but, you know, what are your thoughts? You know, can you help us out? Can we do a river fire that night? It's kinda sketchy being out on the river, but then again, we're gonna blast cannons across.
Well,
The river.
I'm gonna say something
Go ahead.
about this. I've talked to at least 12 people about this. And they are just like shocked that you're gonna have this in February. They're just going, are you kidding me? They're not going because they wouldn't go out then.
Well, we
So what
have-
I'm saying is like the people that come to these lectures and like the history are older people and they don't want to do February. You know, they don't want to go out in February.
Well, we had our first bonfire in February of '23, and there was a ton of people that came to it. So,
I think
I
there's,
mean, there's going to be some people that's not going to come because it's cold, and then if you wait until March, there's going to be people that don't want to come because it's muddy, and if you wait till July, there's going to be people that
That
don't
was
want to
just
come.
10 people I interviewed and said, what do
it's
you
hot, too
think?
hot.
And you can justify that, and I'm sure you've got your reasons. I'm just telling you, when I
Yeah.
interviewed people and said, what do you think about this? Oh, that's great. How about February? I said, are you kidding? This is what they said. Are you kidding me?
listen, that's fair.
So you're
That-
getting
that's fair.
you're getting a young crowd.
And we have heard that, we heard it from Patty Alley in the council last night as well.
Yeah.
All right, so we were just talking about that. So there's still opportunity for, course correction here. So I think it makes sense, but we'll see. Actually, Ron
And in
Marks-
my thoughts, if you live in New England, you probably should own a coat.
or,
Just saying.
or a little.
Well, you
bottle
know,
of
that's the
Blackberry.
tough it up attitude. Like when you're trying to plan something and be inclusive, that's not the attitude you take. Get a coat. You know what I'm saying? That's just a totally different thing.
Yeah, but it's also, like you mentioned, the speaker series last time tended to attract an older demographic, and, you know, you pointed out, this is cold, it's gonna attract the younger crowd. I don't think that was the intent, but I do think we've gotta do events that are gonna be attractive to different people,
I think that
younger
would be
people,
attractive
young
to
families.
anybody there is at any time of the year. I think that July, August, February, not February, but March, April would be a great month. And you'd still get you'd still get it from the young people. They're gonna come. That's just such a ball. But you're excluding a group because of the time of the year you pick.
So-
That's all I'm saying.
So I had a wonderful time over New Year's up in Mount Washington at the hotel, and one of the best parts of that event was honestly doing the horse ride, in the carriage, going out in the woods, and it was cold. And it had blankets, and everybody prepared, and they had hot cocoa. And I think we talked about this. This isn't like a 6-hour event or 5-hour, 4-hour. It's actually 2.5 max
During the day, not in the
during the
evening.
day.
Yeah, it'll
before
end
it
at sunset.
sunsets.
Dusk, whatever.
But I think, Sharon, we keep that at the forefront, in terms of just making sure it's inclusive. And we will have to, look, I remember Judge Delia coming out to the bonfire. I think he preferred to stay up near the school. I don't think he wanted to venture down into the, because it was snowing pretty hard at that point in time. And it was dark, So, but we can take that and be better, try to figure out how to make this more inclusive. And I'd be willing to bet we can be inclusive enough where if folks just like, well, maybe I just want to go in the carriage or whatever. Maybe I just want to stay up topside and just look down at it from up on above. Or honestly, we could talk to the Contemporary Theater, and they got a nice balcony, and that's another view shed of this whole event. We haven't even really explored yet. So we'll take that honest, genuine criticism and try to figure
Oh,
out.
yeah, it's
if we're-
positive. I'm just saying, I see 4 people here that are very much into February. I mean, you're like selling it, And it's like because you like February, because it's this. And then there's other people that aren't at this table who don't feel that way. And I'm just saying, I just see that and I'm being real honest about it. And you could have it in February. You know how much it matters to me? 0, okay? I don't care. All right. So my point is, I'm trying to tell you what people are saying.
That's
I didn't know about
That's
Patty
helpful.
Alley. I had
Yeah.
no idea. She said something about it at the town meeting.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, well, so on the skirmish event, there's still, like, the entitlements, there's still a lot of moving pieces. We talked about food, period style food. There's a lot of bits and, like Johnny cakes.
Although I'm a big fan of Johnny
cornmeal,
cakes, that's
right?
all I'm gonna say.
I don't know what it is.
Raccoons and possums.
Well, of course.
Of
course.
Mark's cooking.
On a stick, maybe? I don't know.
What did you say, only steak?
On a stick.
Only steak.
Yeah. So there's, I think we should kind of get like-minded on this and start rifling through the list of all those militias. I know that there's, is it this weekend? There's a parade or something in another event in West Warwick. And there's one in West Warwick, my brother-in-law just let me know. So the militias are out there, they're getting more active, and we're gonna have to start chasing them because it's
We're
in the
more apt
warmer
to
weather,
get
they're
'em.
gonna be
Right.
more and more
We're more apt to get them in
active,
February. than-
which is another reason why we looked at February. We figured there's not a huge demand for people to be outside in February.
Yeah.
And-
And it's the Valley Forge thing.
And about your food,
Yeah,
when we did the 100th centennial, we had a banquet afterwards over at one of the churches. We just used their hall, but we had a caterer that actually served the food that was during World War I, because they didn't have the meat and stuff like that. They made it so it was attractive, but you can find people that will make those things probably and donate if you want it.
yeah. So there are all those bits and pieces, right? So the idea is that we're Disneyfying a living history event. We want it to be comfortable, relevant, and we do want to partner with you, honestly, Sharon, as you're getting your arms around the 107 South Kingstown Revolutionary War soldiers. There's a branch of this program where we want to know some families, and would they want to have us memorialize or honor their family name, their history as part of the encampment. I think that's a significant nexus that would be entertaining, enticing to people that are both on the history side, locals that are just didn't even know that there was a strong connection, going back to the Revolutionary War. That'd be wonderful. So that's one thing we definitely want to get with you on. Yeah.
I have something to add.
Go ahead.
George Washington. Okay, I'm going to make you happy. Okay, George Washington did not come to Wakefield. Okay, but he did go to Kingston.
Close enough.
Yeah, close
There you
enough.
go.
Close enough.
So they have all this stuff about he came to Wakefield. That's all legend.
Yeah.
Sharon, did he sleep in Kingston?
Yeah, his whole troop was in Kingston. Yeah,
I-
it's, yeah.
I actually read an excerpt, I think, from one of those books, but I think it was around the Tavern Hall Club or in that vicinity, that somebody hosted him as he made his way over to Newport.
And he stayed, they've got the diary, he stayed in somebody's house and he didn't tell them who he was and they just invited him in. It sounded like Santa Claus to me, but anyway, that happened and there's a marker down, there's a marker when you go down Main Street, I don't know the name of all the streets, it's like South, where South Road kind
Yeah,
of.
South Road and Curtis Corner, I think. Is
Yeah.
that the one you're talking about? There's a
No.
little stone?
No,
No?
this
Okay.
one, so you go out past the Muse.
Yep.
And then past all that, you take a right, and it's gonna hook you into South Road.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
what is
Dock
that
Road.
little
And
old
there's-
post road?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's it, and there's a monument there.
Okay.
So that's when I took off, and there's also a monument on the library, and I'm just going, all right. So I researched it, and then I found out what it is this article that was written that I have here about George Washington he did not come to Wakefield, that was all legend, but he did go there. So, I said, oh my God, I gotta tell these people that.
But to your point, I think that's important because we're working on a script, and it's we're going to have somebody that's like a John Adams character that's going to be. I said it's a town crier, but it's going to be somebody of significance, of status from that period of time that's speaking to the crowd. And I've heard is General Washington making his way through our town, well, he may not be here in Wakefield, in the village.
Well, he
but-
doesn't have to say that, he can say
but
to
he-
South
but he-
Kingstown.
But he can talk in plain language as if he's, as if it just happened. You just
Right.
want people just for a moment to go back. and
Right,
just,
right.
They're kind of watching, live history event, right? Then we walk through the encampments and you're talking about the hazards and this folks and that folk. And there are real people that still are here today. And, that's my family, and they're gonna go over, they're gonna talk, and, they're gonna have a sense of pride. And then they're gonna get something to eat, and then they're gonna jump on the,
hayride.
on the little hayride. And then we're gonna have cannons and muskets going off. And honestly, then they're gonna get cold. And they go home and they talk
yeah.
about it.
Yeah.
And
Right.
they'll come out to the next Speaker Series events. So we prime the pump for the rest of the events throughout the year.
I think we can interpolate from the information we had that George Washington took a charter out of Galilee. And on his way from there,
Got some
he
bluefish.
came through South Kingston to smoke his bluefish,
Yeah,
but he couldn't find the roll of papers big enough.
well, you should start to Dog Beach.
This is like his penultimate march south.
It's his penultimate march south, exactly.
Oh,
You are trained well, Kate. Thank you for-
Kate, you're spending too much time with these
Well,
guys.
But I think, here it is, it's all about the details. So just as we're talking about for your events, and you're immersed in the details, we're gonna help you kind of tease out all the bits and pieces so that it's a highly successful event. We want that same feedback for the skirmish. And we're definitely gonna need from you some insights on that list of 107 folks. And if you know of descendants of those families that are still in town.
I do.
That'd be wonderful to know a little bit more about that, because we're gonna spin that off. And as we secure militia and we have encampments and tents, we're gonna prime those folks to say, listen, you are the, whatever, the Rodman encampment, you are the this encampment. And, can you speak, to their volunteerism, their efforts? We've got, don't have a ton of time to do it, but we've got enough time to do it. So again, Mark, I'm thinking in a couple weeks, the next time we meet, we've got to help flesh this stuff out and get a little more granular.
Exactly.
All right. 4th of July enhancements, I was tap dancing for the council.
Thank you for, that was fine. It's fine.
Yeah, I just put a placeholder like $500, just tchotchkes, whatever, some red, white, and blue stuff, tri-horn hats.
I'll just increase my budget.
Yeah.
Because that's
It was a fair question.
That's for next,
Yeah, not this.
really, that's the 26, 27 budget.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it's 3 days after it goes.
So is everybody else getting tricorn hats for Christmas?
Tri-horn?
Or is it just me?
Well, no,
You don't have one already?
I'm sorry, I'm a little late to the game. Terry.
is it a tri-horn or tricorn?
Tricorn.
Corn.
Corn like-
It's
Tricorn
tricorn, and I know
corners.
that because my little brother had one of those little hats, and my dad says, "Oh, so Paul, where's your Buccaneers?" He said, "They're under my bucket hat."
I can't do this anymore.
Yeah, all right. Okay, so the,
Are we on recorded? Yeah.
Oh, not filmed, no, I'm just I'm recording.
Like when we go to those other
Kate
meetings,
needs some
they
refresher
recorded.
on minutes.
They
Oh, you recorded that?
Why not?
Damn it.
so we have a placeholder as far as the town's annual 4th of July event, and that's all it is right now. What I'm expecting is, if you need volunteers, if we have some enthusiasm, if we have other volunteers that fill in and say, yeah, we'd love to help out for that day, we have a placeholder for that, but we don't have any.
Anything specific from this committee for that?
Not yet.
Yeah.
But we're looking to try to, ratchet it up a few notches because it's 2026,
Right.
Yeah,
so.
And
somebody with a tricorn.
And
With the what?
depending on how the state rolls out the grant, they might be looking for, hey, if you got skin in the game, if you've created a budget, we like to have people, or municipalities have matches, so that may lend us to, like, we're gonna hitch ourselves to Terry's wagon for the 4th of July because it's a funded program. So
Right.
this will be something we have to come up and talk about in the next month or so when that program rolls out. The last event is the beach party, the town beach party, and I think that is intended to be the Harvest Moon bonfire without the bonfire. I mean, I'll say it outwardly, I think we're going to go talk to, Finnegan, folks at the Tunic, to see if they can help with funding, for that project as well.
Did you say why you weren't gonna have a bonfire?
Yeah, it's a good discussion topic, Sharon, I'm glad you brought that up.
Because of me.
Oh,
No, actually, the fire marshal.
Yeah,
But we're gonna change his mind because we're gonna put him on notice for stealing my joke, so he's gonna have to let us have a bonfire.
and I just saw that Brian Mahoney is the
Yeah.
warden.
He's
So-
the new, administrator.
Yeah.
Is that what he's called, a
Yeah.
warden?
Yeah, for the
Oh.
fire
Fire warden?
district, so
Yeah.
we'll just go to his boss and say, hey.
Can you explain what happened with that? We didn't go to it, but didn't you have a certain number of pallets? Wasn't all that told to you by him?
Yeah, it was just a,
Went over the
Okay.
top? What did
Okay, yeah,
happen?
totally.
Well, we had some general direction, and it could be X number of feet high, X number of feet wide,
You did,
and
yeah.
we followed the suggestion.
Okay, so what happened?
We followed.
it was just a very large fire, it was a very,
It was awesome. It was awesome.
It was
Did they
great.
see it from Block Island? Did I hear
Oh,
that?
absolutely.
Yeah, it's-
I think they could see it from the moon.
No, but we left a burn mark on the
Yeah, that's
middle
what
of
I
the
said.
town beach
Through back.
grass, yeah.
And almost burned the dunes, no big deal. Like,
Well, that was, they were literally on firefighting mode. They're like,
they
whoa.
were, yeah.
Really?
So-
It
So
got
he
hot.
was-
all the orange traffic cones, brand new ones, they all melted.
Yeah.
They're like 50 feet
It
away
was a-
from the fire.
So we didn't
And I
burn down
loved
the
it,
dunes.
but at the same
We
time, I was
burned
a
down
nervous
the
wreck.
invasive species that were
So
adjacent
like
to the
Yes,
dunes.
thank you
Yeah.
for doing that. Okay.
let me turn
Yeah,
this off,
right.
I'm sorry. I
So
was-
that's why they're not doing it, Sharon.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Can we
the
get
other-
back to the beach party though?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, go to.
Because, so we're doing a few concerts on the beach
Mhm.
this summer. And perhaps that might be rolled into like a post
Yep.
summer, like adding one of those concerts to put it in the concert series kind of
Sure.
thing, but
Yeah.
it's a bigger event than that. So
Sure.
maybe there's a way to create more fundraising
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
opportunities, whatever.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. Are there 2 or 3 events at the town beach this year?
There's 3 this
Three,
summer as
yeah.
kind of a trial
Yeah.
thing.
And we also talked about, because there are concerts there already, and when we have one in September, people already kind of
People are
know to go
conditioned.
there.
And it's more of a, hey, it's for not just for residents, but beach season's over.
Yeah,
It's
Yeah.
more
yeah.
the locals.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, okay.
Okay, I'm just gonna move on, 3C, collaboration outreach since last meeting. We have, I sent an email to Dennis at the Union Fire District, I haven't heard back from him yet.
I saw him today.
Okay, so just ignore me, that's okay. I'll stop by.
Is there any
once it's
more of
Friday.
these over there? Looks
Um,
like they're in a pile.
I did,
Is this yours? Sorry.
that's okay.
That's fine, here you go.
What's
Oh,
that?
I had 2. There you go. Oh, there's 3.
But I don't know if anybody else wants to share if there's been any other 250th coordination, discussion, collaboration. This was a request of Joe Bailey, hey, it'd be great to know that what North Kingstown's doing, what Charlestown is doing. I think Lauren mentioned to me Charlestown has also funded their 250th program. So we might want to, as we're rounding out our events, we should have like a deliberate outreach to Narragansett, Charlestown, North Kingstown, and then, up the city,
Yeah.
just see what's going on with the
Maybe
250th
Westerly as
commission.
well, yeah.
I can reach out. I don't know if any of the Parks and Recreation departments are directly involved at these towns, but I can certainly reach out to the directors and see if they have
A calendar, yeah.
any information or if they're involved, if that would be helpful. If not, that's fine too.
Yeah. Yeah, I think we're starting to see, a little momentum pick up, and certainly when the state budget rolls out, if there's a grant program, I think we'll start seeing a lot of these communities, our neighbors, get active. What's
So
this?
this is like collaboration concept, but it's really not. This is what I thought was great, and we were talking about trying to save some money. And saving some money would be, they had a logo contest in Richmond. And it's all done right here, we could do the same thing, and you spark the 250 into the population. And this is their deal, and we could do the same thing. Instead of having an artist draw up our logo.
That's
we-
awesome, I like that idea,
What's that?
to have an artist draw.
Well, no, this is an artist doing it, and you pick the one. And that's what it is, you put it out to the
It was
community.
a contest, yeah.
Yeah, it's a contest, and you get all these things, and you pick one, and does it cost you anything? No. I think it's great, and it gives the rules.
Okay.
And does the artist do it for free, or you have to pay the
Yeah,
artist?
It's
yeah.
a contest, you enter it, yeah. Oh, a high school student was this one was for? It was any high
think
school
it's-
student could enter it, it says who.
Yeah, if they wanted to, we're not in the high school mode right now, but I mean,
No, but that's the only ones who could. It was limited to high school.
Oh, okay, well, this one we could put out to the art community, believe me, it's big here. Just like when they did, remember when they did the license plates? They put it
Oh,
out,
yeah, they had
and
a
everybody
contest. Yeah.
put it in just to be the winner. You don't have to give them anything. If they win, they want recognition, just like what's that thing you did out there, the rabbit? Yeah, you pick people out.
Well, yeah, that was like a 6-month process, it was,
Yeah.
yeah, that was interesting. That was a little bit different because we had a grant and then we had to comply with, local procurement law. And to be fair, and we wanted to
Yeah, that
make
was
sure
a lot.
everybody reviewed the submissions, we interviewed artists.
But anyway, I just thought that was a great idea, and if you get the community involved with this going out, it's a contest, and they start hearing it, all of a sudden they're into this celebration.
So I think, to that point, this was set up with high school students in mind, so we're just out of step with that mode. Is that something that could start up again in the fall, when school's back in session?
Well, when
I
would you
think
need
that-
your logo by?
Yeah.
Well, I think we had talked previously about, and we've already reached out to an artist to do a logo for us, and one of the discussion points I was gonna make was, what are the themes that we want to exemplify or bring attention to in South Kingstown? And it's, again, this goes back to a meeting, several meetings
So we're gonna
ago.
spend money for a logo to an artist,
Sure, yeah,
okay,
yeah.
all right.
That was in the budget, I don't know if you went through the budget that I sent out to
Okay.
everybody, but that's something that we talked about previously, but I don't think that means that you don't do this as well. This was targeted for high school students, and I'm wondering if that's, let me take a step back. You can get a mixed bag of nuts if you just ask, actually, what is this, April? So do we know what the results are of this event?
I'm sure we could find
April
out.
30th.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what they have. Because again, you can get some really stellar, really inspiring pieces of artwork. Sometimes you get things that are just interesting. Art is subjective. That's difficult. I think what we talked about several meetings ago, Sharon, was more of, we want something that has broad appeal, that is recognizable. This goes back to, again, talk to Joe Bailey. Stickers, not a big fan of, but car magnets.
Yeah, car magnets were big.
And so we're trying to think, is there a logo, is there a brand that we could do that is consistent with the nation's 250th, but specific to South Kingstown? That's a challenge.
What, did you see what North Kingstown did? It's on their website.
Yeah, it was nice, yeah, I looked at it.
They took their
The one
logo
that
for
Sharon sent, or you can look it
the
up.
350th, and they put RI in the center, and they didn't have to come up with anything. They have to spend a dime. They're trying to go on the money thing, they're trying to cut it.
Why don't you think it cost them anything, Sharon?
Because they put the RI 250 logo with the anchor in it inside
Well,
theirs.
we can, that's easy. So, I've got Adobe
Pretty
Creative
distinctive.
Cloud.
I thought it was great.
So, like, And you know what's interesting about that? It's gonna look exactly the same as like every other community that does the same thing, but for their town. So I think the intent was to say, what, is it worthwhile for South Kingstown to do something to pop? Because I'm sensing with the legwork that you've done, that there's a story that needs to be told about our war veterans. And I don't know what that looks like. I'm thinking soldiers. I don't know how you do people of color, you know, in a graphic. I don't know if that's achievable. If it's too kitschy, you know, just if you're cheapening what this event is or this celebration is. I think, you know, what North Kingstown did, I think that's attractive. South Kingstown's got a version. Where did our version come from?
I threw it up on
You just-
Canva.
Okay, yeah. So.
So where, that shirt you got on where it says 300? What
Yeah.
does it say around the ring?
Says
Town of South Kingston,
Kingstown.
Rhode Island, 300, 1723 to 2023.
You know, and sometimes it's just saying enough, right? You could do something that's too cluttered, and we're not trying to do that.
It's gotta be simple,
It's got to be simple.
recognized.
We same guy that was working
Yeah,
on that?
yeah. Pete McPhee,
Oh, right.
He did the trifecta
he did the
artwork,
trifecta.
which is
Yep,
fantastic.
right.
Oh, yeah, that was good.
And I was going to ask if there's still funding from the 300th, if we could, again, I want to be above board, I think you have all of this paperwork, if we could engage him to do some concepts for us, so we can, you know,
I
look
think I
at
could do
concepts.
that. Do we have an estimate for what?
Yeah, it's the same as last time around, it's like $700. But he'll do several versions, you know, do a larger version if we want to do a poster, he'll do
Okay.
a small version. If
I'll
it's a,
I'll find out tomorrow.
okay,
I don't, there's so little money left. I mean, at one point it was gonna be, okay, we're gonna leave that in there for maintaining Ostara or,
right.
I mean, it's $1,200.
Yeah.
So, I'll
That's more than $700.
I can
I'll
count
see
that
if they
for you.
can,
Oh, a mathematician.
if we can,
Yeah, no,
just generate a requisition.
Excuse me, the winner of this contest will be announced at the 250th committee meeting in May of 2025.
Oh.
So this month, this is
all
for
right.
Richmond.
Good for you. She's been pouring over that whole thing.
Okay.
Is that it? All right,
Well, and on the marketing theme, we had already talked about this, but there's quite a bit of work that has to happen after we round out our events, and we're confident of the location, the time, the content. And I think we're just gonna have to rally towards the end of the summer to make sure that we've got our messaging straight. And we'll have another series of discussions about, you know, how we roll this out, and hopefully we'll partner with the local papers. We'll partner up the chain to Lauren and the 250th Commission. They have a whole separate calendar of events as well for all the statewide events. And, you know, again, we'll just reach out to folks and say, who knows who, you know, how can we get on the road show? You know, how do we do this? You know, how do we, and I say road show because we've done that before for the Oktoberfest. You know, we had something interesting to say, we made a few phone calls, you get some excitement, and I think that ties back to why we would want to do something, you know, to complement, you know, John's early speaker series. We'd have the skirmish. It would be, I think it's going to be a unique regional event. I think it's going to be far beyond South Kingstown. I think you're going to draw a decent crowd once people learn that it's going to happen.
So if I could just interrupt my own story, and that is, I shared that a little bit with Kenny earlier. So last year, I went to Utah, I went to, and I had down days, went to Salt Lake and visited the Mormon library that they have there, and they have a family tree. You go in there, computers, and you just type in your parents' birth, death. You type it in, and I hit a button, And it populated, somebody did a lot of work, because it populated my family tree back into like the early 1400s. Like that. And so I went back to Revolutionary time to find out, you know, who might be related to me and the Revolutionary soldier. And in researching some of the names and clicking on some of those buttons, I found out there was like 8 or 10 soldiers that were documented. Some of them were documented in the Daughters of the American Revolution, some of the Sons of the American Revolution. And so I was able to then get that documentation, get my family tree, the lineage for my daughters, and met with the Daughters of the American Revolution. They confirmed. And so Emily
That's
and Sophia
so
are now
cool.
Daughters of the American Revolution. And with that, I then submitted my paperwork and my brothers and my sons for the Sons of the American Revolution. And so it wasn't that hard to do, quite honestly. It's kind of like an interesting, cool thing. I don't know, that and 50 cents will get you a cup of coffee, I guess. But having a series, like a lecture series, or, you know, I don't know, maybe at the senior center or something, for folks to go in and maybe, if they're interested in doing some genealogy search, to say, hey, am I related to a Revolutionary War soldier? And having somebody help walk them through that process, and for them even to do it at home, might be interesting and spark some interest. I know we were talking about, you know, the grave sites, and, you know, some of the people still, relatives still live here that are related. You know, who are they? And they may not have the same name, you know, as the Hazard or Carpenter or whoever may be here. And so having that somebody, I don't know who, might be interested. I know, I think the older we get, the more interested we are in our family trees. And so, is that something that somebody might have a connection with somebody?
Yeah,
And maybe
actually,
having some workshops,
That's an
throughout the
interesting
year or
idea.
Ron
before
Barnes
even.
does exactly that.
That
Who
might
does
be
that?
interesting.
Ron Barnes, he has.
We could do
a-
that as a
roadshow
program
he
through the
does.
guild,
The
like,
guild, yeah.
just
Yeah.
set it up, pay them, you
The
know.
only thing is, the American, Daughters of the American Revolution is a white organization.
It is very, well, it's not a white organization per se, but yeah, you can see there are a lot of people that are interested that are from.
But you don't have to, so it doesn't have to be presented as,
No,
as
it's
the
not,
organization.
you are
but
not joining the DAR.
No, I'm
right?
just saying though, I became aware of that. I mean, by doing this,
But DAR has nothing to do with this, what I'm saying.
no, you reached out to them because when you go to the state archives, they
So-
have a database like you're talking about, where they've done all this research, okay? And you can find out who you are,
Yeah.
if you come from this vintage,
Mhm.
which is, and I had no idea until I went to that thing, that we also had 1,000 something serve, and they've never been recognized. And so, how are you gonna do that? You're gonna advertise that community too, to be able to come and find their
That
genealogy?
community, whose community?
The people of color.
I don't know, I'm not an expert. I'm not
No, I mean, they don't,
advertising it,
the Daughters of the American Revolution don't
That has
do
nothing to do with
It
the Daughters of
But
the
it's
American
not,
Revolution.
it's not that, so Ron Barnes, who was.
I don't know why you're getting stuck on the Daughters of the American Revolution. The
Right.
point, Sharon, is that people may have a relative that served in the American Revolution, and there's
Just
information
need some
out
help
there,
finding
and
that.
so
Yeah.
they may not be able to, find that information and what the
Yeah.
sources are.
And they
And
may
they may
not
be
have
interested.
fought in Rhode Island, they might have.
Oh, no,
fought
that's right.
Anywhere
Right.
from what was.
Yeah, mine was
eventually
from
became
Virginia
Maine, all the
and
way down to.
Massachusetts.
Yeah, it could be anywhere. I mean, I think it's a
Yeah.
really intriguing idea, and I think that to certainly try to find someone, it involves a lot of setup, I assume, because of everything.
Well,
So
you need a computer.
Yeah,
We-
yeah,
So I was able to log into a computer website, familytree.org or something like that.
yeah, well,
So we
And
met
it's just-
with Ron Barnes, who at the time was the colonel of the Patuxent Rangers. And he talked to us not just about the reenactments that they do, but other products that they offer. And one of the things that he does is he'll go speak at libraries or meet at libraries and hit in specifically on the topic of So you think you have a relative who was in the Revolutionary Wars. I mean, it sounds like exactly what you're talking
Yeah.
about, where he helped them identify
I
or
think
give
that's
you
a,
the tools and resources. So
and possibly even more than one library, because
Mhm.
you have a bank of computers at one library, well, people may go to that one, bank of computers at another library.
They do that now, they have that
Yeah,
service. It's
anywhere
the,
where there can be a bank of computers.
the Rhode Island
so
Genealogical
they can
Society
instruct you
does
on
it.
what to do, and once you're instructed, then you can go to your own.
Yeah.
That's something we could have at the skirmish. We could have a table with 4 or 5 laptops on there and someone to show people how to do it
Yeah.
in February.
Ooh.
When it's cold out.
I'm going to the guild.
You don't have to worry about the
Or-
computers
It
getting
might be-
overheated.
You know,
Library is like-
yeah.
All right, are we done with the artwork?
So, I also wanted to, yeah, we moved off our work, but I also want to mention, Bill, you brought up the point of those, merit badges.
So for the Boy Scouts, now known as Scouting America, formerly known as Boy Scouts now, especially after they started allowing girls in. There's 3 related merit badges, 2 directly, 1 tangentially. There's citizenship in the nation, which for obvious reasons, you know. And there's also American heritage. A lot of those kind of cross over with the requirements, and the genealogy merit badge. And I quickly looked through the Girl Scouts. I was Girl Scout leader for 3 or 4 years, Troop 205. And the way they're set up, back then, it was very difficult to figure out what the requirements were. Basically, the Girl Scouts at that time, I think they've done some revisions since, was just, hey, learn about something like first aid, do some things, and if you feel as if you learned something, you get a badge. And that was not toward, and that wouldn't get you towards the gold award or silver award,
yeah.
major awards, but it was like an activity badge, you know. And so it's not the same as Boy Scouts in that sense. I did go on the GSUSA website and tried to figure out this, you know, what civic badges they call it. And again, that seemed very, what I call nebulous about what the
Oh,
requirements
still,
were.
today, okay.
So
In the 5 minutes I took.
So if you go to
But I would
page
like to involve, you know, the Girl Scouts too. I
11,
think.
look to page 11 on here.
Mhm.
That's the program.
That's right, yeah.
It's on
No,
your,
I saw it, I read it.
yeah, okay.
Yeah, I did.
So
take a
it
moment
says
to read
here that it says you can help them earn a badge or work on a local
right.
250th related project. Think creatively about your collection, landscapes, or other resources might use to create learning opportunities and connect with existing scouting programs. So what are we doing right now that would be part of it?
Exactly. It's very nebulous.
Yeah. So, I mean, maybe what we're,
So for the
maybe
Boy
your
Scouts,
skirmish.
it's
It could be,
nothing.
right? It could be. It
For
could.
Boy Scouts, it's, I would gather nothing, is, except for maybe if we do a genealogy thing. Tie
So-
the gene.
these 3 badges, those are Boy Scouts, but even though it's like scouting has kind of been blended, the Girl Scouts and the Boy Scouts
No.
have separate
Yep, so
badges.
there's SA, right, Scouting America, formerly known as Boy Scouts of America organization, and then you have the Girl Scouts of the United States of
Oh.
America.
Separate
2
entities.
separate national organizations. That brief history, Lord Baden-Powell, General Powell, fought in the Boer War back in the late 1800s, came back, said we need to do something with our youth because they weren't prepared to go to war and survive, so he started a boy program of how to do scouting, right? And he found later that the younger boys wanted to join in, so he got together with Kipling of Jungle Book,
Yeah, Rudyard, yeah.
yep, and started a whole Cub Scout thing, right? And you may have been involved with that, you know, Bobcat, and Tiger, Blues, et cetera, et cetera, right? But hey, the girls wanted to do that too, right? So his sister started the whole Girl Guides program.
Okay. I
And
didn't
that
know
Girl Guides, and then you had Juliet Lowe, came over
That's why.
and said, hey, what you got going on here? We wanna start over there. So you had, and then, was it, I should know, Beard, Mr. Beard came over and said, oh, what's going on? So you now have touring with Girl Guides, Boy Scouts,
Yep.
and Girl Scouts, Boy Scouts, America, and of course, around the world.
America.
But they're separate.
Okay, and I think that point, that theme is that, and Patty Alley talked about this last night, if there are other free or just non-organized events or things that don't cost a lot, she was interested in that as a topic. I'm not, like, I think if anybody has any of those ideas, it's good to kind of categorize them and just keep a placeholder so that as we do the skirmish or with Sharon's genealogy or, the memorial program, we let that be known to scouts. That may be part of their requirement to get a merit badge.
Did you get a
That's
sign
good
off?
stuff. Yeah, absolutely. It's part of the process.
Well, I'll just say, with the Boy Scouts, I'll just call it Boy Scouts, but that's how people know it. Their requirements are very specific. Explain this, do this. Whereas Girl Scouts, again, it's very nebulous, so yeah, you could maybe fit something in, Girl Scouts saying, oh yeah, you went to this event, that kind of fits, so you get a badge. But Boy Scouts is very prescriptive. So, thank you.
So maybe if some of the kids, some of the Boy Scouts helped out, I don't know, putting up chairs or breaking down or cleaning up the speaker events, could we help them with the American Heritage Badge? Would that?
That would only count as community service.
Okay,
It's a general community service that for.
they're not, yeah.
Okay.
It's not to say that if we did something, we had a speaker about, Declaration of Independence and what that means and the Constitution, is that,
They attended
that,
that.
attended that, and
Well, it's a
and that would be
Yeah.
one of the requirements. It's a very specific topic that also includes.
Yeah, so all the serious
I mean, it
events,
could-
there
that
could be
fit
a
right
lot
in.
of opportunities.
Yeah, okay.
I see what happened.
Which is,
So the Boy Scout program, they talk about programs.
So back to the agenda, next meeting, I don't know what everybody's thoughts are, but I figured give ourselves another couple of weeks. And depending on progress, after that next meeting, we can kind of figure out, are we still on a 2-week or every other week pace? Or as we get closer to summer, I'm feeling like it's gonna slip to maybe monthly. But then there's gonna be a conversion of individual responsibility and reporting.
All right, so the next meeting would be May 27th?
Okay, is that,
That's the day after Memorial Day, right?
Yes.
I was gonna say, okay. That works for me.
Gonna do 5 PM? 5 PM?
PM.
Okay.
I'm sorry about that.
Do we, but we don't wanna schedule another one out, we're just gonna kinda wait and see.
Assess at that point.
Okay.
And see, do we wanna go a month out?
Okay,
Yeah, because people take vacations in the summer and.
And Sharon, I mean,
Not here, I
if
mean.
there's so we'll follow up with an email as far as kind of like a standardized form to help us get our ideas out on paper.
might
And I-
help, yeah.
And I think over the next week or, week and a half, the idea is to kind of do some individual work and try to rough out some of these programs and get a little more granular. I'm sorry, I do want to go back. Why don't we also send out emails as far as themes, colors, things that are relevant to South Kingstown? Because the way Pete McPhee works is he likes to have something to work with. He's done our work for the Wakefield Village Association, Peacedale Neighborhood Revitalization. He did work for the 300th. And he's able to pull in tangible local landmarks. I don't know that we can use the town seal because that's, well, if we do, we have to ask permission.
Yeah,
But I don't know what's out there. Actually, I do know. We talked about the Kingston Library
Yeah.
as a potential,
we did.
Yeah.
thing to highlight. So that might be something worthwhile.
Okay,
Okay.
I have one
ma'am.
other thing. I will be communicating with other departments that assisted in the last, in the 300th. IT, because Lori Fox was very involved with the webpage. Facilities, they did a lot of the schlepping of chairs and setting up and that type of thing. Police department, communication, we may have a communications person coming on board in the manager's office in the next couple of months. Laurel, we're connected with already, and then also finance. So I just want everybody to understand that I have to make sure all of these other functions are on board so that when I say, okay, we need a check for this person, or we need somebody to load up 100 chairs and set them up wherever, that they're already aware, which is another reason why if we can have
Yeah,
more,
that'd
as
be
much
good.
detail,
So-
then I can
Yeah, so it-
give everybody a
Can
heads
I
up.
make a suggestion,
Sure.
if you get the same thing? The introduction when you call to the town, could you change that? Get another person
I'm not
to speak.
responsible
No,
for the
who's,
town
isn't that
hall
communication?
recording.
No, I know, or that's communication though, right?
Okay, but, sure, I'll let them know. That doesn't have anything to do with this,
Good.
but I'll let them know.
I just figured you said you were gonna, I
She knows
totally
people.
understand. I know, she knows people. And I understand.
I'm not
what you're
very
saying.
influential on that in that regard, but I will let them know.
Is there,
I move
you have a motion
to
to
And
adjourn?
another thing, when you
Adjourn.
call and you want to speak to the
Anybody-
town clerk,
All those in favor?
that,
Aye.
the